The newest season of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta has officially crossed the line from drama to chaos. And this time, it's young Jock and Ashley at the center of a full-blown explosion. What was supposed to be a romantic anniversary celebration turned into one of the most humiliating moments of Jock's life when Ashley publicly called him out and the fight got fucking ugly. According to behind-the-scenes reports, the two were celebrating their anniversary in front of friends, family, and cameras when emotions spiraled out of control. Ashley, who has been voicing frustration over Jock's half-hearted love, reportedly took the mic during the toast and unloaded years of resentment right there in front of everyone. Sources claim she accused Jock of pretending to be a family man for TV, calling him fake, selfish, and even questioning his loyalty as a husband. Jock tried to laugh it off at first, but when Ashley refused to stop, the crowd went silent and the look on his face said it all. Insiders say producers were stunned by how raw and real the argument got. It wasn't scripted, it was personal. Jock eventually walked off, slamming his drink on the table, while Ashley reportedly shouted, "You embarrassed me for years. Now it's your turn." Now fans are calling it the most explosive moment of LHHATL Season 13. The question is, did Ashley just destroy her marriage on national TV? Or did she finally stand up for herself after years of quiet humiliation? When the Love and Hip Hop Atlanta Season 13 cameras started rolling on young Jock and Ashley's anniversary celebration, producers expected laughter, love, and maybe a few lighthearted jokes, not the explosive, humiliating public argument that would shake social media for weeks. What started as a glamorous dinner filled with friends, champagne, and camera flashes ended with young Jock walking out red-faced, furious, and visibly broken, while Ashley stood frozen in front of the crowd, her voice trembling from both anger and release. For fans who followed Jock's chaotic love life for years, this meltdown felt like a ticking time bomb finally going off. There had been tension building between the couple for months. Their on-screen chemistry had faded. The jokes felt forced, and their arguments had become more frequent, even in casual group scenes. People close to them claimed they'd been trying to rebuild their marriage after multiple rumors of infidelity, emotional distance, and financial disagreements, but that night proved that some wounds never heal. The evening began perfectly. The venue was stunning, an upscale restaurant in Buckhead with soft lighting, red roses, and a camera crew capturing every moment. Jock arrived wearing a sleek navy suit, while Ashley stunned in a gold dress that shimmered under the lights. The cast members in attendance, Scrappy, Erica Dixon, Rashida, and even Carly Red, were in high spirits. The mood was light, the champagne flowed, and everyone expected a night of love and laughter. At first, it seemed like things were fine. Jock gave a charming speech, thanking his wife for holding him down through everything and promising that the best is yet to come. The crowd clapped. Cameras zoomed in, and it felt like the happy ending fans had been waiting for. But as the toast continued, Ashley's expression shifted. Her smile faltered, her eyes hardened, and she folded her arms as Jock kept talking. When he raised his glass to toast loyalty and growth, Ashley suddenly interrupted, and that's when everything spiraled. According to those in the room, Ashley took the mic and said, "Loyalty and growth. That's funny, coming from the man who can't even tell the truth at home." The entire room froze. Jock laughed awkwardly, thinking she was joking, but Ashley kept going. "You talk about loyalty on camera, but behind these scenes, it's been anything but. You embarrass me in front of millions. Jock, I've been covering for you, pretending like we're happy while you out here playing family man when the cameras are rolling, and a completely different man when they stop. Faux?" The reaction was instant. Gasps filled the room. Rashida covered her mouth. Carly Red whispered, "Oh my God." The producers scrambled to figure out whether to cut the cameras, but this was gold for reality TV. Jock, however, didn't find any of it funny. His smile disappeared and his body stiffened. He looked furious, caught completely off guard. "What are you doing right now?" he asked, his voice low and controlled. Ashley fired back, "I'm doing what I should have done years ago, telling the truth." From there, the night unraveled fast. Ashley accused Jock of being emotionally unavailable, of prioritizing his image over their relationship, and of using their marriage as a storyline rather than a partnership. "You act like a clown for the cameras, but you don't act like a husband at home," she said, her voice cracking as she pointed toward him. "I begged you to care about me the way you care about your followers." The audience, both in the room and eventually online, couldn't believe what they were seeing. Jock, visibly shaken, tried to regain control of the situation. "You really gonna do this here? On camera, on our anniversary?" he said, his frustration now turning to anger. Ashley shot back. "You didn't care when you humiliated me on camera, so yeah, I'm doing it here. Happy anniversary." At that moment, the tension reached its breaking point. Jock slammed his drink down on the table, stood up, and glared at her. "You done lost your mind," he said. The cameras caught every detail, the tremble in his voice, the pain in his eyes, and the way the entire room seemed to shrink under the weight of their fight. Producers tried to intervene, but Jock waved them off. "Nah, let her talk. Since you want to show out, go ahead. Tell the world what else you're mad about." Ashley didn't hold back. "You think being funny makes up for being a liar?" she said. "You've made me look stupid for years. Jock, you flirt with women on camera, text people behind my back, and then come home acting like you're the victim." She then turned to the crowd and added, "He loves attention more than he loves his wife." Those words hit Jock like a punch to the chest. He froze, jaw tight, then shook his head slowly before replying. "You really think embarrassing me makes you the victim? You just turned yourself into a meme, Ashley." The crowd audibly gasped again. Even Carly Red, known for feeding into drama, whispered to a producer, "This is getting dark." Ashley, however, wasn't backing down. Tears welled up in her eyes, but she refused to break. "I don't care about memes," she said. "At least I can sleep at night knowing I told the truth." By now, the cameras had captured over 20 minutes of pure emotional carnage. Producers finally decided to cut the feed and pull Ashley aside to calm her down. Jock stormed out, slamming the door behind him. The remaining guests sat in stunned silence as Ashley sobbed quietly, muttering, "He made me feel crazy for years." Later that night, cast members tried to defuse the situation. Rashida reportedly spoke to Jock off camera, telling him, "You can't fight back right now. Just let her cool down. Scrappy." Ever the instigator told producers, "Man, that ain't no fight. That's years of pain talking." Even Carly, who has a long history with Jock, told cameras in her confessional, "I've seen him hurt people, but I've never seen him hurt like this. Ashley broke him tonight." When the footage leaked online, fans couldn't stop talking about it. Clips from the fight flooded TikTok and Twitter, with users split down the middle. Some sided with Ashley, calling her a queen for finally speaking her truth. Others felt she went too far. "There's a time and a place," one fan wrote. That wasn't it. The fight quickly became the centerpiece of Love and Hip Hop, Atlanta Season 13. It wasn't just another argument, it was real, raw, and messy in a way that no script could capture. Jock, once seen as the lovable comic relief of the show, suddenly looked vulnerable. Ashley, who had often been painted as the quiet one, had become the woman who dared to confront her husband on his own stage. But while social media was eating up the drama, those close to the couple said the damage might be permanent. "There's no coming back from that," one crew member said. He felt humiliated. She felt unheard. That's not just TV drama, that's the end of a marriage playing out in real time. So the first part of the episode ended. The cameras captured a chilling final shot. Ashley sitting alone at the table. Mascara streaked down her face, whispering, "He made me feel invisible. Now he sees me." The aftermath of that explosive anniversary night was pure chaos. By the next morning, clips of Ashley humiliating young Jock had flooded social media timelines everywhere. Fans, bloggers, and entertainment pages were all dissecting the footage, replaying every word, every expression, and every reaction. Within hours, hashtags like hashtag JOC and Ashley, hashtag LHHATL drama, and hashtag anniversary from hell were trending. It wasn't just another love and hip-hop fight, it was personal, raw, and unfiltered. People who'd known young Jock since his It's Going Down days said they'd never seen him look that defeated. The man who built his image around charm, humor, and confidence had been stripped of all three on camera. And the worst part? He couldn't control the narrative. Every entertainment outlet was running headlines like Ashley exposes Jock's secrets on anniversary or young Jock walks out after public humiliation. Behind the scenes, producers were scrambling. The episode hadn't even aired yet, but the leaked footage had already gone viral. VH1's PR team released a short statement saying, "The events depicted in Season 13 reflect real emotions and challenges. We ask fans to respect the cast's privacy." But by that point, it was too late. The internet had already chosen sides. The comments were split down the middle. Some praised Ashley for finally speaking up after years of being in Jock's shadow. "She's been holding that in forever," one fan wrote. "Good for her for taking her power back." Others, though, were furious. "That wasn't empowerment," another commenter replied. "That was public humiliation. You don't tear down your husband like that on national TV." Even some of the cast weighed in online. Carly Red posted a cryptic tweet that read, "When you push a woman too far, don't act surprised when she stops protecting your image." Scrappy, on the other hand, wrote, "That wasn't it. Not in front of the camera, sis." The entire cast seemed divided, just like the audience. Meanwhile, those close to Jock said he was devastated. He felt blindsided, one insider revealed. He had no idea she was going to do that. He was really trying to fix things between them. The source claimed Jock had been planning a second surprise later that night. A romantic getaway announcement that producers were going to capture on film. He had everything set up, they continued. He thought that night was going to be their reset moment. Instead, it turned into the most embarrassing night of his life. Ashley, however, reportedly felt justified. Friends say she'd been bottling up her emotions for years. She felt that Jock's constant flirting, jokes about exes, and refusal to take accountability had broken her down piece by piece. She didn't plan to humiliate him, one of Ashley's friends said. She just snapped. That was years of silence exploding all at once. The days following the fight were emotionally brutal for both of them. Jock reportedly refused to film any additional scenes for 2 weeks, telling producers, "I'm not doing no fake therapy sessions for TV. Y'all got what you wanted." Ashley, meanwhile, was said to have gone into hiding, staying off social media and refusing interviews. Her phone was blowing up with messages, some of support, some of hate, but she wasn't responding to any of them. Still, when the full episode aired, it became one of the most watched moments in love and hip-hop Atlanta history. Viewers couldn't look away. The edit showed every angle, Jock's attempt to stay composed, Ashley's trembling hands, the shocked reactions of the guests. It ended with a powerful image of Ashley walking outside alone, whispering, "He can make jokes out of everything, but not this." The fan reactions were emotional. People debated who was right and who went too far, but one thing everyone agreed on, it didn't look staged. That was real pain, one viewer wrote on Twitter. That wasn't acting. You can't fake that kind of energy. Behind the camera, producers were reportedly divided too. Some thought the moment was television gold, raw reality that would drive ratings through the roof. Others felt guilty. "We exploit people's real emotions," one crew member admitted anonymously. That night was uncomfortable to film. Nobody wanted to stop it because they knew it would make TV history. Meanwhile, Jock tried to reclaim some dignity by speaking to the press carefully. In an interview days after the episode aired, he said, "I love my wife, but I'm not gonna lie, that hurt. I've been clowning around for years, but that night, I got clowned." He paused before adding, "We're two passionate people who've been through a lot. Sometimes love gets messy. Sometimes it gets ugly. but I still wish her peace. It was a humble, grounded statement, the kind that made people remember why Jock had so many fans in the first place. Still, the damage was done. Every meme page had his reaction plastered online. Every gossip outlet had dissected Ashley's speech word for word. Even late-night talk shows made jokes about the anniversary that went viral. Once known for controlling the narrative through humor, had officially lost control, but behind that humiliation was something deeper: vulnerability. Friends said Jock's pride took a serious hit. But the situation also forced him to confront how much of himself he had been hiding behind jokes. He's realizing he uses humor to dodge accountability. One close friend said, "Ashley didn't just hurt him, she exposed him, and maybe he needed that wake-up call." Ashley, meanwhile, was dealing with her own storm. She began getting hate messages, accusations of being toxic and attention-seeking. But there were also women writing her long messages of support, saying they related to her pain. She gave a voice to women who've been silenced, one fan wrote. Sometimes the truth doesn't come out pretty. The production company reportedly tried to convince the couple to do a reconciliation episode, but Jock refused. "I'm not going to sit on that couch and pretend we're working through it when y'all made a spectacle out of my marriage," he told producers. Still, by the time the reunion was filmed, Jock had calmed down enough to sit next to Ashley, though not without tension. During the taping, when asked if she regretted her actions, Ashley sighed and said, "I regret the timing, not the truth." Jock stared at her silently before replying, "You didn't just embarrass me, you embarrassed yourself. And the saddest part is, I still love you." The audience fell silent. For the first time, Ashley's confidence wavered. The reunion episode ended with both of them walking off in opposite directions, leaving fans wondering if their marriage could ever recover. Social media summed it up perfectly. Ashley broke him publicly. But maybe that's the only way he'd ever listen. Another fan countered, "You can't heal what you humiliate." That marriage is done. Either way, love and hip-hop. Atlanta had just delivered its most unforgettable storyline in years. A painful, real look at how fame, ego, and unspoken resentment can turn love into a battlefield. And for young Jock and Ashley, that anniversary would forever be remembered not as a celebration of love, but as the night everything finally fell apart in the weeks following that infamous Love and Hip Hop Atlanta anniversary blow-up. The fallout between young Jock and Ashley only grew heavier. What had begun as a single public argument had turned into a full-scale emotional collapse, both on camera and off. The couple's friends, their castmates, and even their families were caught in the middle of what now felt less like reality TV drama and more like a real marriage unraveling in front of millions for Jock. The humiliation didn't fade quickly. Every time he opened his phone, he was met with endless clips of his stunned reaction. The moment Ashley snatched the mic, the way he silently walked off. Late-night talk shows joked about the anniversary roast. Meme pages looped his face into punchlines. But what hurt most wasn't the public laughter. It was knowing that the person who caused the scene was the same woman he'd defended time and again. Those closest to Jock say he went through every emotion: anger, embarrassment, heartbreak, and finally reflection. He didn't sleep 4 nights after that episode aired, one of his longtime friends revealed. He kept saying, "I really thought I was doing better. I thought we were rebuilding." Another source claimed Jock even tried reaching out to Ashley privately, but she refused to answer. She wasn't ready to talk. Ashley, on her side, wasn't celebrating the chaos either. While many fans painted her as the heroine who finally stood up for herself, she was quietly spiraling. She didn't expect the backlash, said one insider. She wanted him to listen, not to be destroyed. But the internet doesn't offer middle ground. In a single night, Ashley had become both a symbol of empowerment and a villain praised for her bravery. Condemned for her timing. Condemned for her timing. In her first confessional after the fight aired, Ashley looked composed but weary. "People think I did it for TV," she said. "But I did it because I was tired of pretending. You can only protect someone for so long before you start losing yourself. Her eyes watered as she added, I wasn't trying to ruin him. I was trying to free myself. Fans were divided yet again. Some felt her words showed maturity and pain. Others accused her of rewriting the story. But even her critics couldn't deny one thing. The woman who once faded quietly into Jacques' shadow was now her own voice. Raw, emotional, and unapologetic. Meanwhile, producers were trying to balance reality with responsibility. They knew the storyline was driving massive ratings, but they also recognized the emotional cost. According to reports, the show's counselors offered therapy sessions to both Jock and Ashley separately to help them process everything. Jock agreed reluctantly, admitting during one session that he had spent years hiding behind jokes because it's easier to make people laugh than to let them see you hurting. That admission became one of the most powerful scenes of the season. For the first time, viewers saw young Jock drop the mask completely. I thought being funny made me safe, he said on camera, but all it did was keep me from being real. The clip went viral, not because it was dramatic, but because it was honest. Ashley watched that episode too, and for the first time since the anniversary night. She publicly expressed regret. In a now-deleted Instagram story, she wrote, I see your pain. I just wish we could have found another way. Fans immediately flooded her inbox with messages of hope, urging her to reconcile. Others warned her not to backtrack. You did what you had to do, one follower commented. Don't let guilt make you forget why you spoke up. As the reunion approached, everyone wondered what would happen when they finally faced each other again. The producers had kept them separate for most of filming to prevent another explosion. But the reunion stage was inevitable. When they finally walked out, the atmosphere was tense. Jock wore all black, eyes focused straight ahead. Ashley looked radiant but nervous. The host started gently, asking how they'd both been coping since the fight. Jock exhaled deeply before saying, I've been better, but I've been honest for the first time in a long time. Ashley nodded silently, avoiding his gaze. When the host asked if she regretted humiliating him, she hesitated. I regret hurting him, she said softly, but I don't regret speaking my truth. Jock looked at her for the first time since the fight and replied, the truth don't need a microphone, just respect. That line silenced the room. Even Ashley seemed caught off guard. She wiped a tear, whispering, maybe I forgot that. The rest of the reunion was less explosive but deeply emotional. Jock admitted that his actions over the years, the flirting, the offensiveness, the jokes, had hurt her more than he realized. I kept acting like everything was cool because that's easier than facing yourself, he confessed. Ashley, in turn, acknowledged that her outburst came from years of feeling unheard. I thought if I said it loud enough, you'd finally listen. She said, the moment didn't end with reconciliation, but it ended with understanding. Jock extended his hand. We might not fix it, he said, but I don't hate you. Ashley smiled faintly through tears. I don't hate you either. I just stopped recognizing us. That handshake, brief but sincere, became the most talked about moment of the reunion. It wasn't dramatic. It was real. Two people finally seeing the wreckage between them and choosing peace instead of pride. After filming wrapped, both Jock and Ashley went quiet on social media for several weeks. Insiders say they've been co-parenting peacefully and focusing on their own projects. Jock returned to his radio show, opening up more about accountability and emotional maturity. You can't build love on laughter alone, he told listeners one morning. You've got to communicate. And if you don't, somebody eventually explodes. Ashley, meanwhile, has been using her platform to talk about healing after public embarrassment. The internet doesn't define you, she said during an Instagram Live. It's what you do next that counts. Fans have since noticed that their tone toward each other has softened. They still follow one another online, then occasionally like each other's posts. Small gestures that suggest forgiveness, even if not reconciliation. As one viewer commented, they might not be together, but they've both grown. The anniversary debacle that once seemed like the end of everything turned out to be the beginning of something else: growth. Both learned the hard way that love, when left unspoken, turns into resentment. And resentment, when finally voiced, doesn't come out calm. It comes out like fire. But in that fire, they both burned away what no longer served them: pride, silence, and the illusion of perfection. What was left were two flawed people who finally learned how to speak. Even if the words came too late, in the end, their story wasn't just another messy reality TV fight. It was a mirror. It showed that even the strongest relationships can crumble when communication breaks down, and that healing sometimes starts with heartbreak. And for millions watching from home, Jock and Ashley's pain served as an uncomfortable reminder. The truth always finds its way out, no matter how long you hide it before you scroll past this story. Take a second to really think about what it showed us. What happened between young Jock and Ashley on Love and Hip Hop? Atlanta wasn't just messy television. It was a mirror held up to every relationship that's ever drowned in silence, ego, and pride. Their anniversary fight wasn't about hate. It was about two people who had stopped hearing each other long before the cameras started rolling. Ashley's explosion came from years of feeling unseen. Jock's humiliation came from realizing too late that jokes can't fix what's broken. Together, they reminded everyone watching that love without communication will always collapse, no matter how strong it once was. Sometimes the truth doesn't come out in calm conversations. Sometimes it comes out raw, loud, and in front of the whole world. Their story hurts because it's real. It's what happens when love meets exhaustion, when loyalty turns to resentment, and when silence becomes louder than words. But maybe it's also what healing looks like: messy, painful, and public. Because growth often comes right after everything falls apart. So before you judge them, remember, everyone's got an anniversary night moment. That one breaking point that finally forces you to tell the truth. If this story hit close to home, follow, share, and drop your thoughts below. Because LHHATL isn't just about the drama. It's about real people learning the hardest lesson there is. Love can't survive without honesty. Can't survive without honesty.